Hey everybody, this is Tom Linebus. We're joining you once again from there and back again. A serial tale between two entrepreneurs, one who is just starting their journey in entrepreneurship, and then the other, me, who has gone through 6 times the journey. And this is intended to be a good conversation between two friends, two founders, about their journeys, and hopefully there's some insights that can be derived from it as you go forward. This it's been a while. Aaron Sherwood is my co-host of this. Aaron is the CEO and founder of a new company, Rehuman. And Aaron, it's good to see you again. It's been a little while. You have been very, very busy, my friend. And so I think we really should start off with an update for our audience, because we haven't been back in front of you for a couple months here, and a lot has happened. So, Aaron, bring us up to date on Rehuman and your journey.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's so great to be back on the podcast, Tom, and to give the updates now as a sort of an outsider here. But there's been so much that's been going on since we last recorded. And one of the things I've been really pleased about is the continued support since I've transitioned out of Accenture into the world of independence, leading Rehuman, and the leadership teams in Accenture checking in, whether they're from the Nordics, the Middle East to Singapore, regularly connecting me with clients to opportunities and sort of testing our commercial proposition has been really quite overwhelming, actually, and really humbling to see that, just because I'm now the outsider, didn't mean that the support had disappeared. And so I've been very grateful for that. And one of the other things has really been why I've been kept so busy is securing institutional investment from players all over the world. And granted, I may have underestimated how complex and time consuming and emotionally draining this can be. But I'm really proud of where we are and nearly ready to close, actually, the investment round at the end of this year. And so, particularly given the difficult market conditions and winds turning, we've got a new government in the UK, for example, we're now on track, which is awesome. I think in terms of some of the lessons learned over the last few months, definitely underestimated how complex legal can be. Some of our documents are 50, 60 pages in length, and there are a lot of companies out there that support founders at very early stage. And it's very clear to me that it's an attractive offer, paying a small amount and getting like the sort of the cookie cutter approach. But that really wasn't relevant for me at this stage. I think it's going to pay dividends in the long term to pay a little bit more on legal, to do things properly. And I hear from founders time and time again, don't scrimp on the legal. And so we're there, and now the team is in full force building our product. And yeah, it's I'm definitely being kept very busy.
I'm going to rewind for the audience purposes, because you've been so consumed on this. For everybody that has listened into our series, just as a reminder, Aaron Sherwood, an employee of Accenture, had an idea a couple of years ago, not just last year, but a few years ago,
Right.
to reimagine health and how we can manage our health going forward. And that manifested into an idea. Then we started together on this podcast, but we really started on a journey, what we call the Entrepreneur in Residence program at Accenture, where last year around this time, actually in September or so, we started a 1-year journey together where to try to see if we could incubate his idea, Aaron's idea, into a real company and then launch it through funding and such. And that's in fact what you've done. It's been a year's journey of doing market validation, doing meeting with investors, building a team. It was not, that was a challenge as well. But you built a really great team. How'd you do that?
I think it starts with the vision. And, starting without a product or being revenue generating, it's hard to convince people in something that you see and expect other people to see also. But I was very fortunate that with my network around me of tech leaders all around the world, it was sort of dot connecting and fortuitous that one of the tech leaders that I know introduced me to my co-founder, who is very different to me, by the way, but brilliantly different because and the way I often say to investors around our relationship is very much I'm the guy that can sell it. Like I'm the visionary, and my co-founder is absolutely the one that can build it and lead on the data. And so you've got two different personality types, and our team is just this cocktail of personality, which is awesome. And sometimes that can lead to a few bumpy conversations, but I think that that's necessary and that's actually really productive because we're in a really great position because of that. So probably dot connecting is and my network has been super helpful for it and belief also in me, which I've been extremely grateful for.
Well, I'm struck. Having done this 6 times, building the team is from my standpoint, probably the most difficult thing to do. Trying to find the right players and
Right.
it, like you said, it's not always somebody that is always on the same page with you. You've got to have people that have different opinions, that come from different parts of the world, that come from different backgrounds and experiences. And I'm struck by how strong of a team you actually put together with Rehuman. I think it's pretty amazing. I think the elephant in the room, the exciting element for you must be the product itself. So where are you at with the product?
Mhm.
You have now
Yeah.
formally left, as you mentioned earlier, you formally have left Accenture. Funding
Yeah.
is complete almost.
Almost.
On that, let's get that before you get into the product. But I want to get into the product a little bit.
Yeah, this is the bit that really excites me. And honestly, the clock is ticking. And this is my real execution test. You said to me before, Tom, I have no doubt that you are the visionary here. Your true test is whether you can execute and build. And so, honestly, this is so exciting because a large element of our product requires the connection to wearables. There are two main components, which is a marketplace and then also this Recoach AI feature. And we've done so much testing with not just the market, but also end users, individuals who are actually going to be buying and using this product. And we've got really great feedback so far. So far, the foundations are in play. We have two agreements in play for January. So the clock is now ticking, where it's if we build it, then they'll buy it. So the real test is if we can actually build this thing for January, and all the evidence I have from my team is that we can. And one of the things that's super helpful around this is the founder ecosystem around me, which have been supportive. So there's a founder called Ash Day, for example, who's the co-founder of Life Rewards, really understands the rewards element of what we're doing. There's Sami Admadi, who's the co-founder of Fit, one of the most downloaded fitness apps in the UK, who's helping me around the virality factor. Or there's Ben James, for example, at Hunter Healthcare, who really understands the healthcare industry and how we can interact with players like the NHS. The list goes on. But that's one element. Then there's a whole element around partnerships that we've had to form our product because the marketplace requires people in order to effectively convert their coins into rewards. I'm really excited that just this week we've officially formed a partnership with Aura Ring. More on that to be announced in the next few months. But it's all around people and the technology and going down to the technology. We've tested really the foundation of what we're doing with low code solutions. The idea is that by January we'll have our first 300 users, two customers, and if we can prove that, we're going to get the first level of feedback. And I'm sure it necessarily won't be perfect, but this first level of feedback will enable us a really clear pathway for what do we need to change to then start approaching some of the more sizable players. So we're very much taking a how do we start to crawl first, then we can walk and then we can run. But all of the signals that we've got at the moment are good. But as I know that you know very well, Tom, winds turn quickly. So I'm not naive to the fact that things will change, but we're in full force, and January's our well my deadline to get this over the line.
I know you're in stealth mode, and so I'm not sure how much you want to go into it, but could you help the audience? Because I think some of the audience here may be your beta testers, could become your beta testers for the product. So
Yeah,
could you help them with understanding what problem are you attempting to solve?
absolutely. So by the year 2050, chronic health conditions are set to double. 80% of those can be stopped through simple lifestyle modifications. Now, it's not a matter that people don't know how to make those changes. It's simply a thing around understanding the data. It's often around behavioral science. And so what we're aiming to do is number one is around the reversal of preconditions. Things like pre-diabetes is a really good example of what we're doing. And the other is for the general population, employees of organizations, where effectively they're seeing year on year costs for private health insurance going up. And our technology, our solution is aiming to tackle both of those things: reversal of preconditions to prevent chronic health conditions, but also to totally disrupt the health insurance industry. I think we've got a really exciting opportunity here, especially for a demographic known as young invincibles. Tom, we're trying to start a movement here. And I'm just really energized by what the market is saying and where we're going with this. So very much around that space.
I suspect that some people that are listening that either want to be an entrepreneur or just really, I mean, like me, I'm no longer one of the young invincibles. I am much older, but I love this for the disruptive element of it. I love what you're attempting to do to disrupt the health insurance environments around the world, and your validation of the market has been pretty profound. You've had access to a lot of different players around the world, insurance companies, corporations, HR organizations, and it's been pretty well received. I understand. Is that your take?
Absolutely. I mean, the macro environment conditions change often, and as we've started to narrow down on what the vision is versus what version one of it is, of course, we've got to focus on starting. So naturally, some of the feedback that we've had is, this is exciting, but change it to this, and that's exactly what we need at this stage because I need players that are going to buy it. So overwhelming amount of support of what we're working towards. And so you mentioned actually a little bit earlier around our listeners and if they might be interested in being part of the beta community. There will be a link in the description of this of if individuals want to get exclusive early access to one of our features called Recoach. Just click the link and we'll make sure that we give you the early access in the next couple of months. And you can see for yourself just how exciting the technology is that we're working on. So yes, we're confident in where we're at, but we are just at the beginning. So I don't want to get too carried away and be too visionary, but all the signals are good.
Well, the lack of certainty is a good thing for every entrepreneur. Having a little fear, uncertainty, and doubt, it's not a bad thing. But I love the ask of the podcast here. You surprised me a little bit. The ask of the podcast is join the movement, join the Rehuman movement, and let's see if we can change the world together and put it down in the universe, as Steve Jobs used to say years ago. No, it's fabulous. I'm just thrilled with it. Now the capital raise is pretty much complete, or you're all done that way. Now the product, what do you have left to do in the product? What between now and January are you working on?
So at the moment, it's mostly around device integration. So being able to get data from these guys over into our platform to make sure that the user experience is nice and fluid. There is at this stage limited use of AI, although that is in our roadmap. But ultimately, we want to make sure that we've got the right data privacy and control settings in place before we do anything particularly funny with that. So at the moment, it's very much about device integrations, getting the first version of the product out and tested with those first users. So, and we're pretty much there. Low code solutions have been awesome, but we're very aware that as we move into scale, that's not going to be sufficient for where we're at. So this is going to be the first test.
Pretty exciting that you have a couple of clients already lined up. If you can build it, they will come, so to
Yeah,
speak.
that's
And
the real test.
is that's what's next here? It's all about getting to the client deals closed and then back on the fundraising gig again.
Yeah, well, we'll see about fundraising, but certainly at the moment it's about like I've got to earn my stripes here. Like I'm confident in what we can do, but it's one thing clients using our technology, it's another thing them paying for it. So and I think we're up to something really exciting here. So, watch this space from January. That's my test. And I realize I'm being perhaps deliberately vague here. So if anyone in the audience would actually like to know a little bit more detail about this, or would also like to be part of this early customer base in January, just drop me a message because honestly, you're not going to want to miss out.
Aaron, this has been an amazing journey. I think a lot of people inside of Accenture, and for all of you that don't know, I'm president of Accenture Ventures, and weren't quite sure if you could incubate an independent software company that truly could change the world from inside of a major consultancy like Accenture. And here we are. You're launched. You're real. The company is real. Rehuman is a play and a player in a very big market. And I'm just really excited for you and your journey. Our weekly conversations have slowed down a little bit now,
They
and
have.
I kind of miss them a little bit. But it's been.
Same.
I will say that in my 47-year career, I have never been more proud than this moment. And incubating you and working with you over the past year has been a true joy. And to see you evolve really has been an amazing part of my career. And I thank you for that, my friend. It's been fabulous.
Well, the feeling is very much mutual, Tom. The coaching, mentorship, connections, the list goes on, has been enormously helpful. And I really wouldn't be in this position without you and your team's support. So I'm enormously grateful for everything.
Well, let's encourage the audience to join the movement. Join the Rehuman movement. Click on to become part of the beta sites for the Rehuman project and see where we can take it. Aaron, we will stay in touch. Maybe we'll do more podcasts down the road, but for now, here's to all of you listeners, hoping to see you all in the spotlight in the future. Thank you, Aaron Sherwood, and congratulations on launching Rehuman.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. And thanks for listening, everybody.